Hello everybody, today you join me on our walk to the temple of Aphaia in the hills. And right now, let me see if I can actually zoom in for you whereabouts it is. It's just over here, I just lost it then for a second. It is right over here. If you can just see on the top of that hill there. So it's about 45 minutes each walk from here. So that's where we're going after. One of the best preserved temples in the country of Greece. So we've been walking for about an hour, and again it's reminding me very much of the temple at Browen of Artemis, this area here. Great energy, the hills. The only difference is this one's right at the top of the hill, where the Artemis was seem to be more at the bottom. But again, we've got great views. I think they're grape vineyard or something here. Lovely lush greenery. I've been wanting to get into the hills ever since I came to this place. Look how lush it is in them hills. And then the sea is in that direction there. As we're heading up into the hills now and our final descent for half an hour, there's a lot of walls scattered around. I don't know if I'm just going to zoom into one or two for you to see, like these walls that have been all around the Lake District and everywhere, they're all starting to appear. I don't know if there's some connection between exactly like the energy of certain places and building these walls, because a lot of the walls aren't separated, they're kind of like next to each other and looping round, so that instead of it doesn't look like they're separating land. See, look at them all here. There's one row, and then behind it there's another row, behind that there's another row, behind that there's another row, and it keeps going on like that. Look at that. It's just rocks you see everywhere. It's all just smashed up walls that were once here. Look at it at the side and up there. So hot today as well. It must be getting on 30s now, 30 degrees Celsius, maybe more. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And every tree on the left and the right are olive trees. Just absolutely everywhere in this region. And if you can see just up in the hills as well, just like the lakes, if I zoom in, all of the walls are actually in the hills themselves. Exactly the same as back in England. And looking at the area now, it just looks, I may be wrong, but like those water channels, like some sort of channels going up, the way that the earth is shaped. I may be wrong though. But if it is, it matches the other research that I've been doing to do with water and the structures of the old world, or the really old world, the true old world. And right now it's still so hot, and we've got such a climb right to the top of there where the temple is. It's amazing how still this landscape is. This is definitely not farmland separation. All of these walls like these, all next to each other in staggered lines. The narrative is wrong about these walls as well. Look at them again here. 1, 2, 3, 4, all next to each other. And some of them in circles and everything. I've spotted something right in the distance on the left hand side as well, is this structure here. There's walls coming right off it. It's a long way off that as well. This section is crazy. There's literally hundreds, 1, 2, 3, all the way up. Actually, literally in rows, all the way up to the top of that hill. I've never seen anything like that with the walls. Our ancestors were carrying blocks like these in their hundreds of thousands. We need to start asking questions. They're carrying blocks like these to build the walls. Incredible. Well, we're coming close to the temple now, and still these walls are going on. I keep going on about them is because there is just so many of them, and they've got to be of importance to the temple. Right, from up here we've got an incredible view. This mountain is just surrounded underneath the trees just by walls going all the way up to the top. That's just this one. Then you've got all the others around it, the same thing. So this area has got to have great importance with the temple that we're about to see. the way it's shaped on purpose. This is man-made, all of this. You can actually see some of the walls below where we were before, and look, they're perfectly in line next to each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, look at all them lines there, they're all perfect. So everybody, we've completed the hike, fantastic hike up, an hour and a half. We're now at a lovely little cafe before we actually go and see the main temple. And it's a nice little love heart for us there as well. So everybody, we are here at the temple, and the narrative here says that there was actually an even older temple built before this one that was again burnt to the ground, like they do, you know, like everything just burns on its own. So yeah, so this is the, well, I was going to say new, it's not new, it's a very, very old temple. This is it. So here's the temple of Aphaia. Let's see what we can find here today. So this temple is actually much more intact than the other temples I visited, like the temple of Artemis, even though that was kind of still intact, but only a couple of columns left. It's even more intact than the temple of the Greek Olympian Zeus at the site of the Acropolis. But yes, this is actually a very well kept structure. So yeah, it's good to see that this one's still intact, but again, it doesn't make sense how so many have just disappeared or dissolved, or like this one, apparently there was an older one before, this just burned down. These things don't happen, but the view here is incredible. We've got the sea down there, we've come right up, about an hour and a half, an hour and 3/4 walk from where we're staying at the port, not the main port, but the close by ports are here. But yes, this is a fantastic view, unbelievable. But I've still got them stones in my head. Actually, now you can see them from here. I just come round here, I zoom in. This is where we came from. All the stoneworks down there. So it's definitely to do with this site. This whole site's to do with that. Look how weathered the actual structure is as well. It shows how old it is. What an unbelievable structure. But I heard about this guy. He noticed that this structure was actually in line with the Acropolis. Now, I don't know how he noticed that, I just heard about it, but if that is the case, that proves again what I've been looking into, and because I've seen a lot of structures in line with each other. I've been researching this for a long time, and every time I've been correct. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is in line with the Acropolis, which, if I'm right, is in that direction over there, so it'll be in line maybe that way to that way, I think. So I'll just have a bit more of a research. It also proves that they are dismantling these structures on purpose, because Apollo's temple that I went to yesterday, that was just one pillar left, and they said originally it had 2. So why would Aphaia's temple be this big? Why would Zeus's temple be that big, and everybody else's, Athena's and so on? Well, yet Apollo, who is just as famous a god, only had 2 pillars to himself. Temples like these are always aligned with the sun in some way as well, so it'd be great to discover how this is aligned on the solstices, the winter solstice, the summer solstice and the equinoxes, because these temples will for sure have something to do with the sun. But what a stunning place. This is absolutely unbelievable, this trip that I've had in Greece so far. Every one of these temples has these stones at the top, actually on top of either the two pillars that it's resting on, and some of them have been taken off. So this one, for example, all of these have got, you see all of that one. In fact, no, I didn't mean to say 2 actually, because originally it would have been columns here as well, I would say. But yeah, it's just a lot of it's not completely intact. Some have disappeared, I would say, you know, like stuff like these. They've either been purposely taken down, or for some reason or another disappeared over time in some way. But yeah, this is more or less, these would have had these blocks on top all the way across the temple. At the temple itself, here we are with these walls again. Now for certain this wasn't farmland. right by the temple. So look at this. All these walls are exactly the same as what we've been seeing on the way in. In fact, these are smaller. The ones on the way in were actually made of much bigger stone. There's always an amazing, incredible stillness at these temples. and in fact the whole island. As soon as I arrived I felt that. I've never been to a place so still. Like I said, only Silverdale possessed that stillness in England so far that I've been to anyway, and that temple of Artemis that I showed you earlier in my other videos. On the temple here we've noticed a lot of these horseshoe shapes. We've got one here, got one there, and then if we come this way here we've got two through that gap there. So there is these just here, if you can see, I don't know if you can't quite can see, just through there. So yeah, they are everywhere on this temple, that symbol. And on every old world building I've visited are these little tiny little cavities at the top. On all of the horseshoe magnets, on all of the old world buildings, even the older churches, cathedrals, are all on them. So again, these horseshoes are engraved inside the rock by hand, or so we're told. There's a hole here that I can't even see the bottom of it right here. I'm not sure what this is for, but it goes right below into the earth. Look at that. I've also been looking for evidence of water around here, and the narrative here says that a part of this was supplied by rainwater, and I can't see any evidence of sacred springs around here, but there always is going to be something to do with water on these temples, as water was the element that all of the old world buildings put at their foundation, as so many were built on a sacred spring, exactly like the temple of Artemis at Browen, if you look through my other videos. Me and my sister Athena are just actually wondering if these stones in the cafe are original from the temple. So everybody, anyway, thank you very much for watching this video, and there's plenty more things to come this year. So it's been a fantastic trip so far in Greece. We've got a couple more days left, and we've learnt a lot and we've seen a lot, so we've had a fantastic time. Thank you very much for watching.